pretty proud of myself that I figured out how to do all the electrical.
Hi, welcome to the channel. In today's video, Patricia and Kurt came up to get their Velvet heater installed. They're getting ready to hit the road, but before they do, Patricia is going to give us a tour of their van.
Kurt and I wanted to buy a van, and we wanted to travel in it. Then we got to looking at different van people, and we heard about this person who lived really close to us up in Fredericktown. And we called Jonnie and asked if we could meet her. And we decided that within just a very few minutes of time, Jonnie was the person. We wanted to build out the van, and we had to wait like 7-8 months before we would be up to get our van built out. But what she told us to do was go travel with what we had and decide what we wanted. So when we brought the van in July of this year, we knew exactly what we wanted. And I am so thrilled to get to show you today what Jonnie did for us, because we knew we wanted some things, but Jonnie knew how to make those things happen, sometimes not necessarily exactly as we thought, but in an even better way. And one of the things that she did was she created this bed for Kurt so that his head would always be elevated. Okay, so here's Kurt's bed that I can lift up, and it has this bracket to hold it up a little bit, to elevate it. And Jonnie made 3 more that have adjustable heights, so no matter where Kurt is, he will have his head elevated. Thank you, Jonnie. So we don't carry any levelers in our van. We just have our Kurt's bed to be leveled, and then I can switch sides because my bunk is up here. The next thing she did for us was she did the shoe cubby, so that when you get into the van, you sit down on the edge of the bed, you take off your shoes, you put them in the shoe cubby, and you are good. And it really helps to keep the van clean. Then as you come around, what you will see is all of these built-in storage. We knew that we could not have a lot of overhead storage because my husband Kurt is just a little bit claustrophobic, and we wanted a really big open space, and we're not full-time, so this was going to work for us. So Jonnie did all of these cubbies, so you're going to see them all the way around the van, and we could not be happier. Kurt's got his books, Kurt's got a bunch of different stuff, and then he has a place for his eyeglasses and his hearing aids and, whatever. And then I had the same thing, but my request was I wanted the top of my cubby to be big enough for a coffee cup. So I got my coffee cup width on my cubby. Then under the bed, she made open segments. And so we can pull out the dog food in the first cubby. The second cubby is the CPAP machine. And then the third cubby is where we have the small battery that is that we run the CPAP machine through. No matter the circumstances, Kurt's able to have his CPAP machine running. Then the third cubby where the battery is, behind that, we have a pop-up toilet and a bag of toiletries that we're able to set out when we put out the privacy tent. As you go around, you may notice that I have a flannel cover, and then I have this other cover. That's because this is a shower curtain that we put down when we're traveling, because that's where the dog lays, and then I can just fold that up, put that away. And when we're settled down, we have a really, really nice place where we can be comfortable, lounge, whatever, and still be able to have good space utilization. The other thing that I told Jonnie I really needed is Kurt has a toe box. The toe box for his bed actually holds both of our travel pillows, our pillows for the beds, and then it also holds one of the bolsters, and both of the bolsters hold additional bedding, towels, whatever you would need as you travel around. Now you may notice that we have 2 beds. We have this little bed up here, which is my bed, and then we have this really nice full twin 8-inch high mattress, and this is Kurt's mattress, because it's really important that he be able to sleep comfortably. Me too, but this was what he needed to be comfortable. Then as we look at my bed, what you'll see is over here to the side, there's a cubby. And this cubby just lifts right up, and out comes a bag that has, like some back curtains. As a matter of fact, it holds these little curtains that I just put on these windows whenever we are pulled in someplace and need a little bit of privacy for the night. So I have those on both sides. They're just on extension rods. So it's no big deal, obviously. It's no big deal. But then I can fold them up, put them in the bag, and it gets tucked right down out of here. Going on around, I have our privacy tent. At the other end of my bed is another pocket. And that pocket pulls up my privacy tent, which is just perfect. I don't need it all the time. But when I need it, it's right here, it's available. And it also helps keep my mattress exactly where it's supposed to be in this place. Then as you look under my bed, you'll see one of the most important areas we have. We travel with a dog. So Marienda, this is her crate area. When we pull into a site, we take her travel bed off Kurt's bed and the shower curtain like you saw. And then she has her own space down here, which is really helpful when I'm trying to cook or we're going in and out. Just look at my beautiful, beautiful drawers. This is a little bit tricky. It shows that there's 9 drawers here, but there's not. There's 8 drawers, and ta-da! It's where the wheel well is. And in there is all of our emergency supplies. So a fire blanket, fire put out stuff, and first aid kits. We really like having that. We all know exactly where it is. Everything that we need is in one place, and it's really easy to get to. So as we come around, well, you're going to see more shelves, more insets that Jonnie did, and our water filter. This is the smallest water filter you can get. We put a gallon of water in it when we get in someplace at night. It is all filtered through, and in the morning, I fill all of the bottles, the 6 bottles that are up here, so that to drain this down so we don't have a lot of water slosh as we're traveling. So that has worked really, really well. Then as you continue to come around, you'll see my kitchen cabinet. Now, most people want to have really, really pretty things. And I like pretty things, but I also like things that are really, really functional. And so in this kitchen cabinet, not only can I put all kinds of foodstuffs and all kinds of, all of my plates and all cups and cutlery, but then as you go down, there's additional electrical devices. You'll find my air fryer, my electric fryer, my crock pot, all those essential things that we have to have as we travel. And one of the best things about it is that when we're ready to travel, I can lock that up, and then none of this stuff can go flying. So that is a huge, huge plus for me. The other thing about this, I mentioned the levelers for the bed. In here, first thing I pull in, I have my little level. I put my little level on there. And the second thing I do is I reach down here, because in here is this really big cutting board. This cutting board fits absolutely perfect right here. I set my level on it. It needs to come up. I put a couple of my levelers under there, and voila, I can have this thing level in about 2 seconds. Now, it may not be perfectly level right now, but you get the idea. This makes life so much easier. We don't have to carry levelers. We don't have to move the van back and forth to get it exactly level. We can just do things internally as we need them. So this has been really, really helpful. And then you've already seen my pull-out drawer, which I really, really love. And my refrigerator is here, you can see. But the reason why I have all these bath towels on it, some people say, well, that's really great insulation. I say it's really, really good at drying them out after we've used them. And so I still have all of this space, even down here, to cook, to serve on. And so by having this space like this, I can use it in a variety of ways. to my refrigerator there. And one of my absolute favorite things that we have is if you look right over here, you will see an old iPad that I have. But this old iPad connects to my Blue Eddies. I have two different Blue Eddies. I can set if I want DC, AC, check the power level. Do we have anything coming in from the grid? Do we have anything coming in from solar, from battery? And I can look right here and check exactly where my power banks are. So this has been a huge asset to our travel and being comfortable with everything that we have. There is one thing I want to mention while I'm here, because I forgot it everywhere else. You may notice that a whole bunch of my outlets are actually inside. That's because I don't want wires coming out this way. I wanted as much as possible to have things recessed on the inside. So these outlets are fine out here because I use them for my electrical stuff for cooking. But most everything else is going to be inside where I can not have a whole bunch of wires to contend with. And then, of course, you have the swivel seat. And when a person comes in and sits down and they're really tired and they can just sit back, which is what Kurt does, and I stand over there and I cook, and the dog will be under the bed or she'll be here at his feet. And I love this swivel seat. Yeah, I gotta show one other thing. This is this light, a reading light I asked Jonnie to put in here for reading. What I found, this is fabulous for keeping my curtain back. So Kurt finds this to be very, very comfortable space. Okay, so I told you that Kurt and I wanted to travel, but we had a reason why we wanted to travel. We do a lot of family history, and in order to do family history, you have to have a lot of stuff with you and ways to record information and to keep contact information, all that kind of thing. So what Jonnie did for us is right here. This is the most incredible drawer. It is deep enough for both of our briefcases, for our laptops, for a whole bunch of cords that we need in different places. And we're able to take these, and we use these things all the time, and yet it doesn't fall out. And then up here, you'll see, well, you may see, we also have room for a folder, some additional information that we pick up along the way, and of course a few toiletries, and my mirror. A mirror is a good thing to have. Sometimes I forget to look into it, but it's a good thing to have. But this way we have a space. And what you'll notice is on these top two shelves, I went ahead and I put a bungee cord, and I just got some elastic cord, put some little eye hooks in the center, and it is amazing how well these two bungee cords work to keep things in place and not have anything fall out, particularly when you're talking about some heavyweight kinds of folders that you need to have with you. So this was really, really important to us. I'm so appreciative that Jonnie was able to figure out the spacing and the depth so we could have this, and then we could also have more cubbies underneath, which, by the way, that's where my vacuum resides, because I use this thing multiple times a day. And this was one of the things I asked her to be sure and do, was to give me a place I could put that. And so she did, just like she did everything else I asked for. So you may have noticed we don't have a whole lot of systems. You didn't see a sink, you didn't see a water pump. We have a couple of fans, the Sirocco fans, which, by the way, are fabulous. We use these things just incredibly. We have the Max Air fan, and we can open up the windows on either side, so we get really good airflow through there. And then, as you saw on my iPad, that we have Blue Eddy batteries. Now, that's the total of our systems, except my gray water is actually a cottage cheese container that I can just put my coffee grounds in. So that's my gray water. But a lot of people wonder, what you got to have that kind of thing. So that's how we manage that. Now, our Blue Eddy systems, that's electrical. And I am not good with electrical. I have done really, really expensive things destroying electrical. So when Jonnie put in our Blue Eddy, we already had a Blue Eddy, a middle-sized one, And then she put in a great big one. And I looked at it, and all I could see were these wires. And she kept saying, now, Patricia, you have to understand how to do this. And I would try it. I'd try to figure it out. And it's like I totally got it messed up. And I called Jonnie from different places. And I came up and I says, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. And she said, you will, you will, you will. Well, Kurt and I just got back from 3 weeks. And we understand, well, I understand completely. I can put my Blue Eddy on solar. I can put my Blue Eddy on shore power. I can put my Blue Eddy on the DC charger. And I actually understand it. It is so important. I can monitor it from the iPad that you saw, but actually to understand it and to go back and look to where the wires are and the cords and what goes where took me a long time to figure it out. And with a lot of help and watching a lot of videos, I feel really actually very confident now that I can run my electrical system, which runs on everything. So all of our outlets, all of my electric cooking appliances, Kurt's CPAP machine, everything runs off the Blue Eddy. So we have the main power Blue Eddy that runs the van, and then I have a backup Blue Eddy, and I can take that out because it's much lighter weight. And if I want to set up the table and do some cooking out, I can do that. And then those battery panels are underneath my cooking table. And then I have great big solar panels that I just hook into the side that Jonnie put at the end on the outside. So all I have to do is just plug them in, and I don't have to do a whole lot else. So I am so thrilled at how easy all of this has to be when it comes to travel. It doesn't have to be massive power banks and all of these chargers and all of these other kinds of things. It's in place. You understand it. And I understand there's a fuse that you could always go wrong with a fuse, but I know where those are, and Jonnie has them all labeled. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself that I figured out how to do all the electrical. There, that's what it looks like.
That's a little bit of storage, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of storage.
We're so organized. Nice.